previous videos, this video that you will probably like. Do not forget to subscribe or follow me on Instagram, where I share a little bit more of my personal style also, and where I share a lot of funny Insta stories with funny stuff on it. Let's start.
This is the end.
What we have here is definitely the lack of people caring about what they look like. Get yourself back together.
Nonsense, darling.
Hello, welcome back to my huge channel. Today I want to talk with you about a topic that I personally think is extremely important, and I do not hear and read enough about them. I'm talking about Asian brands that we know, from when I say Asia, I know Asia is a big continent, but usually it's China, Korea and Japan when it comes to terms of fashion industry. Also the Middle East would be interesting, but that's another topic. I feel like we do not hear enough about Asian brands, and I also feel like they're extremely revolutionary and a lot different than the European or American brands that we know. And as much as I love all the European brands that I talk about, or the Americans, I feel like we need to focus on the Asian brands as well, because we get a lot of influence also from there, and they also have a different mindset concerning fashion, in my opinion. And that's something super interesting to talk about, because I mean, as we know, European brands are usually brands that have a very strong heritage. The big players like Gucci, Burberry, Louis Vuitton, all of these stories start, I don't know, like in 1800 something, or even before, or 19th century. Anyway, it's just a long story. And the Asian brands usually, of course, do not have that long story concerning the modern contemporary brands. They of course have a fashion heritage, of course they do, but I'm talking about the more avant-garde brands that are kind of evolving right now, or like started 10 years ago, and it's going on right now, and it's getting bigger and bigger. And I mean, Hong Kong, Peking, Seoul, Tokyo are super important cities concerning fashion. And I mean, I guess we're all well aware of Asian people who just have an extremely cool style in these cities, and that I envy with all of my heart, because it just looks so good. And I would really love to see more of that style in European cities, because what we have here is definitely a lack of people caring about what they look like, and I don't like that. I want people to care about what they look like, and not to be pretentious or something, and not to be like, I need to wear trendy pieces so it looks cool and everybody likes them, and I want to look like I'm falling out of a Pinterest picture. I just want people to care about it. I mean, it's something important, and it is something that affects me, because I see you, and when I see you on the street, it's not that I want it to be aesthetically pleasing for myself. I just want to know that you cared about it. And I think this is an aspect I do not find too often in German cities. I mean, anyways, because here the people usually like to be very functional. But even I mean, the people are getting too casual, in my opinion. We're getting a bit too casual, guys. I know joggers are important, I know sweatshirts and trekking shoes and everything is important, but get yourself back together. We need to keep this thing going. Okay, so long story short, I want to talk about my favorite Asian brands. I know there's so many, and actually I also do not have a perfect clue about what and how huge this industry is. If you have some other brands that you find extremely interesting and that we should all have a look at, please write it down below. I'd really like to know what else is out there. So coming to the first brand I want to talk about, it's Shushu Tong, an extremely innovative, creative and interesting label, in my opinion, that definitely shares my vision and aesthetic. So you might also like it. It's a Shanghai-based label of two friends who founded. It's Liu Shilei and Yutong Zhang. They are fashion masters, graduates from the London College of Fashion, and before that also studied in Shanghai. Funny thing is, they actually come from a very small place in China, and they have actually been to the same high school, but they didn't know of each other. And when they came to a bigger city to study fashion in China, first of all, they got in touch with each other and got to know each other and realized later on that they had been to the same high school. So they finished school and then applied to London School of Fashion in London, and were also accepted and went there and were also roommates. And actually it was just a studies project, you know, creating this label. They studied it, of course, but it started while they were students. And yeah, they started the label Shushu Tong. What we also have to bear in mind when we talk about Asian brands, especially coming from China, I would say, is that the Chinese fashion history is not, the contemporary fashion history is not as old as it might be here or somewhere else. That means it was pretty hard for young designers to get the recognition they can get in the US or in Europe, for example.
It's a very young brand, and we actually have this idea when we were studying in London, the final year, and we just, before we want to try to have a way to have our business to stay over there.
I think everyone knows who study fashion.
They want to have brand for themselves. Compared with London, I mean, it's much easier because the rent here is lower and we still can find nice fabric from Japan and some more from our own country. I think like being like designer brand here is actually such a new thing, like hot thing at the moment.
Whole China had like 2 fashion weeks. Usually the fashion weeks weren't like the Mercedes-Benz fashion week as we know it here. It was more like a press event, you know, where you had to represent your culture. So usually there were designers that tried to implicate the cultural aspect always, which is also super interesting, and I love these kind of things also. But it was a bit like a government deal, you know, this fashion. I can imagine that they're extremely progressive right now, especially I think in the last 2 or 3 years. We hear a lot about China and their technological improvement as well, and I think we will see these kind of progressions also in the fashion industry. Anyways, they have studied it there and they kind of felt like they definitely need to go to Europe to learn more. And it's funny because when I saw the clothes for the first time, I loved them immediately, because it's like what I love when it's especially women's wear, and they're only creating women's wear right now, is when you have that playfulness between this girly image and this little darkness. And the influence or the inspiration these two had this from is definitely mangas and animes. And I know this sounds very cliche, but it's not. You know, the uniform like looks, the very girliness. It seems like it's influenced also by opulence, because I mean, when I see these very short dresses, they kind of also remind me of Miu Miu, a bit Prada also, you know, these mini satin looks, also these shoulder pads or these little crystals everywhere. I saw a lot of influence of Prada here, but actually it just can be influenced, of course, by any other label that likes to play with femininity. See this baby doll looks, these very short dresses. By the way, they also have this underwear that looks like it's made for, you know, not for humans actually, but it looks like it's for toys or something. So this is definitely a part where you also see the anime inspiration. And they said they have been watching, they all actually wanted to be cartoonists because they love mangas, etc. So there was a very famous cartoon back then, it was called Nana, and both of the designers were very strongly inspired by it, and that was kind of the moment where they wanted to be designers and not cartoonists or anything else. So we see that in their clothes, but what I also like here is it's a bit more dark than we see maybe on other labels. You know, you do not have this girliness that shows itself through its colors. They sometimes have bold colors, but usually I have to say it's a pretty black portfolio. And it's also a little bit sexy. So it's not only that innocent girliness that is very strong here. They definitely also have a bit sexy appeal to their clothes, you know. I mean, that comes with the fact of very short dresses also. But you know, there can be very short dresses that just don't look very feminine, for example.
Oh,
usually I love the labels.
I think you have something similar that you wore in Capri.
What?
Once in those days, didn't you have
What?
something? But you had it as a checkered red and white.
Oh yeah,
That's always cutie.
this
That's the
is sweet,
bikini
guys.
top, but like
You know, this is like the kind of femininity I'm looking for. You know,
naked.
No, but you know, this is something where like this innocent look when you show skin, you know, you need to keep it balanced. So
Is it since you've been in Munich for a while and you love the dirndl look?
no, I hate it. I hate the dirndl look because it's just oh god,
So
German
traditional
fashion. I would say it needs improvement, but it can't improve anymore since it's
People love
historical.
it. Yeah.
But I just
Yeah, I like the other stuff as well. I think this one, that the particular one that you had selected, it looked a bit like a mixture of both
exactly
feminine and modern. Yep. Yeah, I
Yeah.
don't like the type of the brows, and I also don't like the
You should say what you like. We're here
the
to talk
toe.
about what
Yeah,
we like.
yeah, you're right. Oh, I like these panties. They
Oh
look
my
funny.
god, this is something I was
This
going
is-
to talk about. It's funny.
I'm sorry. Now I'm doing.
No, I'm actually talking about these panties that I loved and that I was going to talk about.
The only reason I'm in this video is she's too lazy to cut me out.
Yeah, it's true. Anyways, I love. Oh my god, what is this?
but they
Oh, they have these pearls. Oh god, and the pearls. Oh my god, are these pandas? Because, okay, haha, this is something I know.
Panda.
And I have an info about this because they have created this pearls necklace, and they have these little. It actually looks like it's like unplanned red drops on the pearls, but I think we definitely should see here panda faces. I don't know, it kind of turns into Rorschach, but I think it's pandas. And funny thing is, the hometown of the two designers is very famous for pandas.
Ooh.
Anyway, the brand is super cool. If you like to have an edgy but feminine appeal that is extremely cool, you know, that I also personally like, for example, like wearing short dresses but a long blazer over it, and plateau shoes, you know, this Nodaleto ones that everyone's having right now, for example. I don't know, combine it with this. And overall for this brand, I have to say, I feel like it doesn't have these classical Asian avant-garde appeal that we see at Yoji, for example. Of course not. I would say we have these two genres that are first very strongly inspired by manga, anime and other films, and then we have this very genderless and very clean and very strict design of the avant-garde designers also. And I don't want to only talk about the inspiration, because that usually sounds like they only get inspired by other labels, because I definitely think that they have their own design and their own vision, so it's not really comparable to another brand. But nevertheless, I mean, if I see a new brand, the first thing I do is, you know, you need to create a cluster, you know, like where in the matrix is this brand? Here's Prada, here's Endemol Mister, and here we have, I don't know, Carhartt. So where is this label? And this is why I compare it with many others. That doesn't mean that I think it's just copying the brands or anything. They style it with extremely cool shoes that are very strongly plateau, which is very hip right now, I guess. And I love the socks. The socks are insane. I think I'm repeating myself concerning socks, I know, but this is an interesting sock.
Invest in the socks.
Invest
in the socks.
Yeah, and I always invest in good socks, and you know what? I've never gone wrong with that. Anyway, so Shushu Tong is an extremely cool label, and I've seen that I just recorded 30 minutes talking about a single label, which is not good because I wanted to squeeze like 5 labels in here. You have the sense for futurity, but then again you have these very relaxed shapes that look very casual. And this is something very interesting, and as I said, Korea and China, but especially Korea, for example, is very famous for its very relaxed shapes. And I feel like this very oversized trend that we have right now, and that is not going anywhere, which I'm very happy about. And yeah, I wish to see more of these labels also in very classical European luxury stores. I know these stores are still very exclusive, and I mean, this is something even young designers from Europe say, that they have problems with getting in very big houses because like the big players still rule the fashion game here. Anyways, if you like this video, do not forget to subscribe or follow me on Instagram if you do not do that yet. And I will share another video where I show my newest achievements in terms of what I shopped and where I spend my money.
This is achievement.
You know, this is so Gen Z, I'm a millennial. This is so millennial achievement what I shopped. You know, it's actually not an achievement. Anyways, do not forget to subscribe, and I love you, and I will just check on my... No, I'm not checking on my neighbor because I care about my freedom. So have you decided what we're gonna eat now?
Yeah, I have to say that is really interesting. All of those places want you to order 24 hours in advance. For full menu.
They want you to order 24 hours in advance.
Yeah, they just go and have, you know, they still have to pick the stuff from the field.
You know, this is why I just eat my ice cream for 99 cents. Okay, I get it.
Something fancy, people have to prepare for it. Like, if people would come over tomorrow to you and telling you, tomorrow we'll have some fancy dinner at your place. And I would be like, of course.
Okay, guys, thank you, bye. Also, ich habe am Anfang ich habe jetzt 2 Stunden aufgenommen wieder. And if you like my videos, my previous videos, this video that you will probably like, do not forget to subscribe or follow me on Instagram, where I share a little bit more of my personal style also, and where I share a lot of funny